I was thinking of doing this review in a way that just makes me feel and look as cool as Ryan Gosling. But then I realized the review would just be and of course you don't want a review by Ryan Gosling. You want a review by this idiot. My name is Ren, and this is my review of The Fall Guy. Welcome back, film family. Thank you for joining me to discuss what many are calling Barbenheimer the movie. I'm simply calling it one of my most anticipated films of the year in The Fall Guy, where we follow stuntman Colt Seavers, who, fresh off an almost career-ending injury, must track down the missing movie star of his ex-girlfriend's blockbuster film and solve a conspiracy to try and win back the love of his life whilst doing his day job. As a frame of reference, the film is based off of an 80s TV show starring Lee Majors, a show I have never watched nor had I ever heard of, to the point that when initially announced, I thought this movie starring two of the biggest movie stars in the world was going to be based on the silly but engaging little game we all got addicted to during the pandemic. I cannot say how faithful it is to the actual show or if it just borrows the title, but what I do know is that I love movies about movies, and The Fall Guy feels like it was specifically cooked up in a lab for me. It's an action movie about making movies with romance, starring my favorite actor working today. I also adore seeing directors in their element, and David Leitch offers an experience full of adrenaline, laughs, romance, and intrigue, highlighted by the impressive and fearless physical feats of the entire stunt team, mostly without the aid of visual effects, as you can witness in the glorious end credits of the film, in a passionate tribute to the brave and audacious stuntmen who, for so many decades, have been neglected by the very same industry they are the heartbeat of. Something that the film is never shy about calling out. There's a specific beat where Gosling's character gets asked if the Oscars give out awards for stunts, and deflated, he says, no. And speaking of Gosling, both him and Emily Blunt offer immensely charismatic performances in this celebration of filmmaking and the hard work and dedication behind the scenes in one of this year's must-see IMAX experiences. Much like David Leitch, Gosling is fully in his element. He's an actor who's so ready and willing to make a fool of himself playing the hero himbo. He's so affable, so charismatic, so charming, and the back and forth between Emily Blunt feels molded by classic romances, and yet it's played so differently, because this is not a guy who is not weak by having feelings for a girl. He has regrets from the beginning. He is trying to be professional and help her out with her film, but he does want her back. He just doesn't want to step on her toes. And that is something that we don't see too often, but they bring out the best in each other, especially when they're on screen together and we're seeing this movie being made, how much of an actual on-set filmmaking lingo is happening, but also they have fun with certain situations that are ridiculous behind the scenes that would make a production actual chaos. But because they're so aware of it, there's such a meta awareness of it all because of what they are doing, the cast they've assembled, the director behind the scenes. And so there's an extra layer of fun to this entire film. Not to forget the other side of this charismatic duo, Emily Blunt. The most amazing aspect of Blunt's performance is how natural she is with all the facets of her character. Much like Gosling, she is never afraid to make a fool of herself on camera, which endears her so much to us, the audience, and she lights up the screen every time she's on it, whether they're focusing on her drowning her sorrows, her as a director, her bantering with Gosling back and forth, where their sizzling chemistry is so vibrant and yet comes across so natural. Her comedic timing never misses a beat, and they have a fantastic ensemble surrounding them both. Winston Duke is awesome, Anna Waddingham as goofy and over the top as you want and hope, Aaron Taylor Johnson doing his best Matthew McConaughey, and the film absolutely tips off the hat to the current landscape of filmmaking in this incredibly silly movie they're making called Metal Storm, a sci-fi epic where a cowboy falls in love with an alien, but it's basically Romeo and Juliet, and there's so much to mine there, and the film absolutely minds it. And of course, this would not be a proper review without mentioning director David Leitch, who once more offers unapologetic popcorn fun while celebrating the unsung heroes of the film industry by showcasing the spectacle, the imagination, the magic they bring to the screen. This entire film is dedicated to stunt work. Every action set piece not only is memorable, it's exciting, it's adrenaline fueled, but feels specifically engineered to highlight the work stunts provide, to the point that Ryan Gosling does do a lot of his own stunts, though not all of them. A lot of them are quite dangerous, and they become all the more admirable and respect worthy for that. It's not just what we see in the film, but the peek we get to the behind the scenes during the, like I said, glorious credits at the end of the film. Everyone just feels like they're having the time of their lives. From the entire ensemble to our lead pairing, David Leitch crafting all these set pieces together. They are so well polished, so well brought to life, and through them, we get this little bit of a peek behind the scenes, actually seeing while watching the film how everything was constructed and brought to life. I love seeing directors in their element like that. And these days, unless you're a Christopher Nolan, a Denis Villeneuve, a Steven Spielberg, all directors I adore, there are not many directors that are given the budget, the trust, and the leeway by studios to really put their craft on screen. And the fact that we have a David Leitch, a former stuntman himself, who has reinvigorated, reinvented the action genre for quite a few years now and how to bring it to life, he is given this trust. I absolutely adore The Fall Guy for both in front and behind the cameras, highlighting the importance of creative freedom and the respect that everyone in filmmaking deserves. Its plotting can become messy at points. It wants to marry the action with the filmmaking within the film and the romance and the intrigue and mystery with the missing movie star. Not all of these threads marry so well, nor do they all reach equal levels of satisfying payoff. When it comes to the conspiracy about what's happening with the missing movie star, there is just too little revealed in the first half of the film to leave us some breadcrumbs. We're not as invested because we're not as engaged with that side of the story. And so it can feel convoluted at points how it brings it all together. But before I dive into my final thoughts on The Fall Guy, it's time for you to start the conversation about it in the comments below. Have you seen the 80s show? What is your favorite movie about movies? And how do you rank David Leitch's movies so far? Anything and everything down there. If you're enjoying this review, there's many more like it right up here. And if you don't want to miss any future conversations with me on your favorite movies and TV, this is the place to be. Consider clicking that subscribe button and you won't miss any future conversations on your favorite movies and TV. The Fall Guy sees David Leitch with his heart on his sleeve in this earnest love letter to the unsung heroes of filmmaking. It's an impeccably crafted meta celebration of old school stunt action and classic cinematic romance thanks to Gosling and Blunt's electric and heartfelt chemistry, charm, and goofiness. I'm giving The Fall Guy a B+. Thank you so much for watching, Film Family. Remember to start the conversation about The Fall Guy in the comments below. And what is your favorite ever stunt on a film? Big shout out to my channel members for always supporting the channel. I'll be back very soon with more videos. So until the next one, love each other and love the movies.